Asia's green jet fuel boom is about to shake up the airline industry. Things are going through a major shift in the air industry. Asia is rapidly expanding its production of sustainable aviation fuel, which is a cleaner alternative to traditional jet fuel. New production facilities are being built, and capacity is increasing fast. But the thing is that the demand within the region is still low, and most of this fuel is being shipped to other markets like Europe, where strict regulations require airlines to use it. But what does this mean for the future of aviation in Asia? Will lower prices make SAF more attractive? Let's find out in today's special episode. Sustainable aviation fuel is one of the key solutions for reducing carbon emissions in the aviation industry. Unlike traditional jet fuel, which is derived from fossil fuels, SAF is produced from renewable sources like waste oils, agricultural residues, and biomass. It has the potential to lower carbon emissions by up to 80% over its life cycle compared to conventional jet fuel. But despite its environmental benefits, SAF remains a niche product due to its high cost and limited production. Asia is experiencing a surge in SAF production. New facilities are being set up, and capacity is increasing rapidly. However, demand is not keeping up, mainly because most Asian countries do not have strict mandates requiring airlines to use SAF. As a result, a large portion of the SAF produced in Asia is expected to be exported to other regions, particularly Europe, where regulations are stronger. Asia's SAF production capacity is set to expand significantly over the next 2 years. By the end of 2025, it is expected to reach 3.5 million metric tons per year, a significant increase from 1.24 million metric tons in 2024. This rapid growth is driven by several factors. Governments and companies are investing in SAF production due to increasing global pressure to cut carbon emissions. Asia has abundant raw materials for SAF production, such as waste oils and biomass, which makes it easier to scale up production. Several SAF production projects outside China are starting operations, adding to the region's total supply. But the rise in production does not automatically mean that all this SAF will be used in Asia. Many countries in the region have not yet implemented strong SAF usage policies, so demand remains low. While SAF production is growing, demand within Asia is lagging behind. The main reason for this is the absence of strict policies requiring airlines to use SAF. Unlike Europe, where flights departing from EU and UK airports must include at least 2% SAF in their fuel mix, most Asian countries have yet to introduce such mandates. The first compulsory SAF mandates in Asia will only start in 2026, when Singapore and Thailand introduce a 1% SAF requirement for flights. South Korea will follow in 2027 with its own 1% mandate. Now, the South Korean government has also been working to reduce carbon emissions. Japan also aims for a more ambitious 10% requirement by 2030. And they are also aiming to reduce emissions up to 60% by 2035. However, even with these mandates, demand for SAF in Asia will still be significantly lower than its production capacity. One of the biggest challenges is the cost. SAF is still much more expensive than regular jet fuel, making it less attractive for airlines. While some carriers, like Cathay Pacific and Air New Zealand, are voluntarily incorporating SAF into their operations, most airlines in Asia are hesitant to do so because of the higher costs involved. One potential positive outcome of the oversupply of SAF in Asia is that prices could drop. Historically, SAF has been significantly more expensive than conventional jet fuel, often costing up to 3 times as much. This price gap has been a major barrier to widespread adoption. But with more SAF production coming online and demand remaining relatively weak, competition among producers could push prices down. This could make SAF more affordable for airlines, encouraging greater usage. Already, there are signs that the price gap is narrowing, although SAF is still not yet cost competitive with regular jet fuel. Because domestic demand is not growing fast enough, much of Asia's SAF production is expected to be exported to other regions. In 2024, Asia exported over 370,000 metric tons of SAF, mainly from Nest's large production facility in Singapore.
This trend is likely to continue as more production capacity comes online.
Europe, in particular, is expected to be a key market for Asian SAF exports. European airlines are required to use a minimum percentage of SAF in their fuel mix, and local production in Europe is not enough to meet this demand. This creates an opportunity for Asian producers to sell their excess SAF to European customers. In the long term, as more Asian countries introduce SAF mandates and airlines become more comfortable using SAF, domestic demand could start to catch up with supply. But for now, exports will remain a major part of the market. Even though SAF production is growing, there are still several challenges that could limit its expansion. One major issue is profitability. As we talked earlier, producing SAF is expensive, and if prices fall too much due to oversupply, some producers might struggle to remain profitable. Another challenge is that anticipated production capacity does not always translate into actual production. In 2024, global SAF production was expected to reach 1.5 million metric tons, but actual production was only 1 million metric tons. This shows that there can be delays and obstacles in ramping up SAF output. The lack of uniform policies across Asia is also a barrier. While some countries are introducing SAF mandates, others have no clear plans. This creates uncertainty for investors and makes it harder to develop a stable, long-term market for SAF in the region. Despite the current challenges, the long-term outlook for SAF in Asia remains positive. Companies like Nest and EcoSeries are investing heavily in expanding their SAF production capacity. They believe that, as regulations tighten and more airlines commit to reducing their carbon footprint, demand for SAF will eventually rise. There is also growing pressure from international organizations like the International Air Transport Association to increase SAF usage. The Association of Asia-Pacific Airlines has set a target of 5% SAF usage by 2030, and some individual airlines are also setting their own goals. New technological developments could also help make SAF more affordable and widely available. Researchers are exploring new feedstocks and production methods that could reduce costs and improve efficiency. If these innovations succeed, they could make SAF a more attractive option for airlines. Asia's SAF industry is at a crucial turning point. Production capacity is increasing rapidly, but demand has not yet caught up. The lack of strong SAF mandates in most Asian countries means that much of the region's SAF will be exported to Europe and other markets where regulations are stricter. The oversupply of SAF could lead to lower prices, making it more affordable for airlines. However, if prices fall too much, some producers might struggle to stay profitable. The long-term success of the SAF market in Asia will depend on whether governments introduce stronger policies to encourage SAF adoption and whether technological advancements can bring costs down. Another important factor to consider in the future of SAF in Asia is the role of government incentives and financial support. While some countries have started introducing mandates, financial assistance from governments could make a big difference in encouraging airlines to adopt SAF. For example, subsidies or tax benefits for airlines that use SAF could help bridge the price gap between SAF and regular jet fuel. In addition, investments in research and development could play a key role in making SAF more affordable. Scientists and engineers are constantly looking for new ways to produce SAF more efficiently. Some companies are exploring alternative raw materials, such as algae or synthetic fuels made from captured carbon dioxide. If these new methods prove to be successful, they could significantly lower the cost of SAF, making it more attractive to airlines. Infrastructure development is another challenge that needs to be addressed. Even if SAF production increases, proper storage and distribution systems must be in place to ensure it can reach airports easily. Many airports in Asia are not yet equipped to handle large amounts of SAF. Upgrading fuel infrastructure to accommodate SAF will be necessary if airlines are expected to use it more widely. The role of international cooperation is also worth considering. Since aviation is a global industry, different countries need to work together to create common rules and standards for SAF. If every country has different regulations, it could create confusion and make it harder for airlines to adopt SAF. A coordinated effort, led by international organizations like the International Civil Aviation Organization, could help bring consistency to SAF policies worldwide.
Another area that could drive SAF adoption is consumer awareness.
Many passengers are becoming more conscious of their carbon footprint and are willing to pay extra for greener travel options. If airlines promote their use of SAF as a way to reduce emissions, it could create more demand from environmentally conscious travelers. Some airlines already allow customers to contribute towards SAF use through carbon offset programs, but this concept could be expanded further.
Finally, the role of large corporations in SAF adoption should not be overlooked. Many companies are setting sustainability goals and are willing to pay for lower emission flights for their employees.
Business travel is a major part of the aviation industry, and if more companies demand flights powered by SAF, it could encourage airlines to invest more in sustainable fuel options. While there are still many challenges ahead, these factors could help shape the future of SAF in Asia. The coming years will determine whether SAF can truly become a mainstream fuel in the region or remain a niche product used mainly for exports. Now, whatever your thoughts are, just write them down below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more future videos.